Have you ever wondered why a narcissist reacts so intensely when you move on from them? It almost feels like their entire world is collapsing, and the mask they've been wearing begins to crack in front of your eyes. They might resort to manipulation, guilt-tripping, or even rage when they realize that you've moved forward. This can be a mind-boggling experience, especially when you're the one breaking free. But what's the reason behind this reaction? Why do narcissists respond this way when you simply continue with your life? The answer lies in a deeply ingrained psychological mechanism. It's not just an emotional overreaction. There's a profound reason why narcissists feel as if their world is falling apart when you move on. Understanding this dynamic can help you make sense of their behavior. It explains why they crumble when you finally let go and why they feel entitled to your attention. Narcissists are often wired in such a way that they can't bear to be left behind or ignored. But this reaction says more about their insecurities than anything else. The heart of a narcissist's distress is the belief that they should always be the center of attention. In relationships, they tend to see their partners as extensions of themselves. When you move on, it disrupts their sense of control and validation. Their self-worth is often tied to having a constant source of admiration or adoration. So, when you stop giving them that attention, it feels like a blow to their very identity. Moreover, narcissists are accustomed to having the upper hand in their relationships. They manipulate others to maintain power and keep things in their favor. Moving on from them challenges their dominance and sense of superiority. This is why their reactions can be extreme, ranging from anger to emotional manipulation. It's a struggle for them to accept that they are no longer the focal point of your life. The breakdown in their behavior is a direct reflection of their inability to handle rejection. Narcissists typically have fragile egos that can't tolerate the idea of being discarded or replaced. They don't just lose a partner, they lose their sense of importance and validation. This can trigger a range of behaviors meant to either regain control or punish the person who dared to move on. Understanding these psychological dynamics is crucial in dealing with narcissists. It's not about you, it's about their need for control and attention. So, if you're in a relationship with a narcissist or have broken free from one, recognizing their behaviors can empower you to maintain your boundaries. But remember, it's essential to protect your emotional well-being as you navigate these complicated relationships. Now, let's begin by understanding what narcissists are and why their ego is so fragile. Narcissists are not just self-absorbed individuals. They have a deeply ingrained need for admiration and validation. They thrive on external validation to fuel their sense of self-worth, often hiding their insecurities behind a mask of superiority. The attention and admiration from others are what give them a sense of identity. When you move on, you are essentially pulling away from their source of self-esteem. This disrupts their entire emotional balance and they react defensively, even though their behavior often seems irrational. But here's the catch: narcissists don't just want validation, they need it. Without it, their sense of self starts to disintegrate. They might have convinced themselves that they are superior to everyone around them, and their worldview often revolves around their need to be admired, adored, or even feared. So when you move on, it's like you've removed the pedestal they've placed themselves on, and they feel stripped of their self-image. In their eyes, this makes them worthless. They don't just lose you, they lose their inflated sense of power and control. And that is something they cannot handle. What makes the situation even more difficult for them is that narcissists are incredibly good at manipulation. For years, they've likely played mind games to keep you hooked, making you doubt yourself, question your reality, and feel responsible for their behavior. They operate from a place of emotional control and create a dependency in their relationships. They've conditioned you to keep coming back for more, even if you've been hurt time and time again. But the moment you break free and choose to move on, it exposes their true weakness, their inability to maintain control over others. Narcissists, despite their outward confidence, are internally insecure. Their self-worth is like a fragile balloon floating in the air, constantly in need of someone to hold it up. When you stop being that person, it bursts. They are terrified of being alone because it forces them to confront their emptiness. So when you move on, they can't fathom it. To them, it's like you've taken away their reason for existence. This is why they can't just let go gracefully. Instead, they might lash out with anger, guilt-tripping, or even trying to manipulate you back into their world. They can't bear to see you thriving without them. Another fascinating aspect of this behavior is the narcissist's need to feel omnipotent and above others. They thrive on having people in their lives who admire them, even if they don't truly care about those people. But when you walk away, it creates a crack in the illusion they've built for themselves. It's as if they've been exposed for who they truly are, a fragile, insecure individual who depends on others to feel whole. This revelation is unbearable for them. They don't want to admit that their sense of power relies on the people around them. Moreover, the narcissist's reaction isn't just about you. It's about their ego. When you move on, they interpret it as a direct attack on their self-esteem. You moving on means that you no longer value them, and for someone with a narcissistic personality, this is like a direct assault on their identity. They believe they are worthy of adoration, and when that's taken away, they feel like they are nothing. That's why they crumble. Their whole identity is built on the validation they get from others, and losing that validation makes them feel empty and worthless. But the most unsettling part is that narcissists may not even truly love you. They love what you provide for them: attention, admiration, and a constant flow of validation. Once you stop providing those things, they no longer have a use for you, and they may turn hostile. You become the source of their pain, and that pain is so unbearable that they will go to great lengths to try and bring you back, even if it means manipulating you emotionally. For them, it's not about the relationship or your well-being, it's about maintaining control. Narcissists don't do well with loss of control, and moving on signals that they no longer have the power over you that they once did. This can lead to an identity crisis for them. They may even try to replace you quickly with someone new, not because they have deep feelings for the new person, but because they need someone to fill the void you left. It's important to remember that narcissists are not incapable of forming relationships. They simply view relationships differently. To them, people are tools to boost their sense of self-worth, and when that tool is taken away, they feel defeated. The deeper you delve into the psyche of a narcissist, the more you understand that their fear of being abandoned is rooted in their fragile sense of self. When you move on, you expose the cracks in their grandiose facade. In conclusion, narcissists crumble when you move on because they rely on the validation and control they derive from their relationships. Without you, they are faced with their deepest fear, the fear of being insignificant. It's not about losing you, it's about losing the source of their inflated ego. Understanding this is the key to freeing yourself from their grasp and moving forward without feeling guilty for making that choice. Thank you so much for watching this video and for joining the conversation. If you've enjoyed this content, please give it a thumbs up, share it with anyone who might find it useful, and don't forget to subscribe for more insightful videos. We appreciate your support and can't wait to see you in the next one.